It is time to go live with Happy Hour. It is May the 5th. It's not May the 4th. Be with you anymore. It is May the 5th, and it's Tuesday, and it's over. And there ain't no mountain high enough, y'all. Enjoy these tunes and me dancing while we let folks get in the room. To keep me from getting to you, baby. Woo! Y'all, it's Happy Hour. It is May the 5th. It is overcast, 78 degrees in West Austin. We are going to give folks some time to pop into the room. You know the drill. It is 7 weeks going strong of Happy Hour, so you know how this works. We want to know in the comments, where are you? What are you drinking? And if you're a first timer, put 3 stars so we can shout you out. Woo! Let's say hi to a few folks that are already here. Sarah in San Antonio drinking the Relief Wine Cinso. It's so good. Did you put a chill on it? Anthony, what is up? Good to see your name in the comments. Pam in League City drinking margaritas for Cinco de Mayo. I love it. Bill, happy Cinco de Mayo to you as well in Lake Jackson. Woo, what's up, Pam? Anthony says he's already had a margarita. He's slowing it down with a Coors Light. That's like a Mexican beer anyway, I feel like. Alta, cheers from Mi Cochina in Plano. Jalapeno margarita. We'll spice it up a little. I like that. Y'all, I am having some Sangiovese rosé. This is the first time I've had this wine. It's the first time William Chris has ever made this wine, and the first time I've ever had this wine. And it is so good. We're going to have to talk about this today. We're giving folks a few minutes to get in the room. Get something in your glass. Oh, and the music's about to die. Alexa, off. It's time to get started, guys. I know we're still going to be dropping in. More folks are going to be dropping in. Happy Hour. It is the end of Tuesday, May 5th. Congratulations. You made it through another day. It's good to see you. Good to have you with Happy Hour and our special guests today. Let's go to them first so we can say hi to a few more folks. Kelsey, you are up first.
Hey.
Kelsey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. It's good to see your face. Don't get to see you any more these days. Guys, for all of you in Happy Hour who don't know, our desks are right next to each other, normally at the William Chris office. So I miss my next desk neighbor. Is that what I can next desk
That's
neighbor?
Me, I guess.
I love it. Well, where are you and what are you drinking?
I am in Southwest Austin, and I am drinking a margarita, and I saw Pam was too. I feel like there's a few people drinking some margaritas for Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, I feel like you guys are on brand for Cinco de Mayo today. Cheers, friend. It's good to see your face.
Cheers.
Enjoy the margarita on my behalf. We'll come back and see you in just a little bit. Next up, we have a very special guest with us today. She is going to be leading the wine nerd section, guys. It's going to get uber nerdy today, and I'm really excited to introduce you to my friend, Lindsay Drew. Lindsay, hi, friend.
Hello. It's good.
How are you today?
I'm doing really well. I'm having a good day. It's gorgeous outside.
Oh my gosh, this weather. I'm totally down with the temperature coming down. Though I do miss my sunshine. I love my vitamin D, for reasons more than it just being good for your body, because it's called vitamin D. Okay, cool. Sorry, guys, couldn't resist. My whole life, there's a whole repertoire of those where that came from. Lindsay, where are you and what are you drinking?
I'm in Central Austin, I guess. If you can see, that's the lake behind me. My view out the door is the hike and bike trail and the lake itself, or river, depending on where you fall in that controversy. I'm drinking Gemischters from Biesenberg in Vienna, from Wieninger. These guys are like super delicious and they do a killer job, and they're biodynamic. I stuck with the theme.
I'm glad I'm glad you're on theme for that, since you're going to be teaching us about biodynamics today. I don't want to give too much away. Cheers to you, friend. Yeah, I forgot to cheers you. Yum, yum. Gosh dang, this rosé is good. Okay. So I know that I already want to jump into biodynamics, so I'm going to hold off.
Okay.
We're going to bring you back just a little bit later. Good to have you on the show today, friend. I will see you soon. Okay, time to say hi to a few more people. Of course, Leah is shouting out Kelsey is the best. For those of you who don't know, Leah and Kelsey make up our marketing team at William Chris. We are very, very blessed and thankful to have them on our team. They are rocking it. They're one of the reasons that I'm here doing this and you're there watching me. All the tweets and the emails and the virtual packs and all those things, like they're getting the word out and helping us do well in this time and make sure that you guys are taken care of as our fans. So thanks to Kelsey and Leah for that. I'm glad you're getting a shout out from your boo, Leah, in the comments. Kate, what is up? No tequila. You know there are ways to fix that, okay? Just saying. So you're drinking Oster Beer Works or La Verdad. Kate, I've been seeing La Verdad, meaning the truth, right? I've been seeing that can you reply in the comments of what style of beer that is? I'm sure I could Google it, but what is the La Verdad? I'm a big Austin Beer Works fan and I need some beer in my life. And I've been thinking about going to get some of that. Sydney, you're in a restaurant tonight. So sad. You guys be safe out there. Enjoy. Cheers. Morgan, what is up? A former special guest of ours. Good to see you back. Paul, I know you missed yesterday. I was a little bit disappointed. I didn't see your name in the comments. Guys, I really do miss when our regulars are not here. Like, I notice when you're not popping up in the comments. So, like, we missed you, Paul. Glad you're back. And Rinda in San Antonio, good to see you. Chris, good to see a Chicago buddy. Chris Robinson, what is up? Love to see you in Chicago. Guys, it's time to talk about this wine that I'm drinking. If you're still joining us a little bit tardy, totally fine. Drop into the comments. Let us know where you are and what you're drinking. But I got to tell you about this wine. This is the first time we've made this wine. So it is a Sangiovese Rosé. Guys, every time I say Sangiovese, I want to hold my fingers out like an Italian, a proper Italian, and say Sangiovese. But I want you to know that this rosé is some of the best rosé that I've had in a long, long time. It has structure. It has a little touch of texture and tannin. You know, we talk about tannin with red wine, but not usually with rosés and whites. This has a little bit of texture. I wouldn't call it grip, but it has texture and has amazing acidity. No surprise, because the Sangiovese grape maintains really great acidity. And it has this like almost kind of like dried herbs note in addition to all the fruity flavors we love in rosé. So let's talk a little bit about this. First of all, it's from the High Plains. Oh gosh, it smells incredible. It's aromatic. Definitely berry driven. Man, this is like, y'all remember Clearly Canadian sparkling water? It was like the first sparkling water back when sparkling water was not a thing. I don't know if anybody remembers Clearly Canadian, but it was sparkling water and it was flavored. And I was obsessed with it as a kid. And there was this berry flavor and it had like blackberry, raspberry, and like strawberry maybe together. And they were so, so delicious. And this for me is that mix of like blackberry, strawberry, raspberry all together, maybe with a little bit of like lemon curd. Oh God, it smells so good, guys. Maybe white flour. Oh. Dadgum. So much acidity. I'm having to like slurp up my saliva. Remember, that is the body's reaction to acid. So you know, wow, and I'm still salivating. If you are salivating this much, you know that the acidity is elevated in this wine. That's what we love about rosés. That's what we love about warm weather wines. Guys, if you're trying to think about what should I drink in warmer weather, you need to be thinking about acidity. And a rosé like this that has really high acidity is going to be refreshing. It's going to clean your palate. It's going to keep you coming back for more. It's the same reason we love lemonade, and it's the same reason we love limeades from Sonic. It's because of the acid. And that's what we what's the word, like desire in the heat of the summer. And so this is what you're going to want to be drinking. And guys, I'm a little pissed that this is the first time. I'm not pissed at any one person. I'm just in general pissed that like I haven't had this yet because it's so good and I would have like already purchased a sixer of it. It's in the Mother's Day pack that we're selling, and I think it's also in the virtual tasting pack for this weekend. But you didn't hear that from me because I might go buy all of it. Gosh, I'm not usually this excited about rosé. I'm going to be honest. Like, it takes a lot for me to be blown away or especially excited about a rosé. This fits the bill. So yes, and I'm glad Mercedes remembers Clearly Canadian. Bill says this is one of the best rosé wines WCV has produced. I could not agree more. I'm honestly like I'm a little shocked. It's still like my wheels in my brain are turning of like how else do I describe how good this is to you guys that you would actually get it. I think a lot of rosés tend to be like pink water. And it's a little frustrating. A lot of the stuff coming out of Provence, they started to mass produce it, and it just became so boring and expected. Nothing interesting. The lazy roller coaster at the carnival that had like one little hill and then the ride's over, and you spent like 4 tickets on it. And nobody wants to do that. You want a little complexity. You want character, and this rosé has it. And so you got like, if you can't tell already, like go get this. Like the Sangiovese rosé is so good. Okay. Yes, Sarah, the Cinsault Relief wine does have acidity in it. Leah's like, at least you have one. I couldn't get to it last time I was at the winery. So maybe I should consider myself lucky. I'm going to hang on to this bottle. It's not going to last past tonight. I can already guarantee you. I have to-go tacos like waiting on me after happy hour, and I will be crushing capital CRUSHING with an exclamation mark at the end, like this wine for the rest of the night, as long as it lasts. It's going to be like 30 minutes. Okay. And wow, even Anthony's saying it may be better than Mourvèdre Carignan Rosé, and you guys know that he's obsessed with that. I already think so. I don't think there is a competition here. Like for me, this is the best rosé I've had from William Chris. I don't throw out superlatives like that. It's done. Okay. We need to get on. I could just like have a love fest about this wine for like the next half hour while I like straight drink it out of the bottle. And I'm not even sorry, because it's like I need it to be in my mouth faster. Instead of like this to the glass and then to my mouth, we'll just skip out the middleman. Okay, so we have a very special guest. My friend Lindsay is here to talk to us about biodynamics. Ooh, I can't even say that. Biodynamics. I'm going to bring her up here, but before she jumps into biodynamics, I want to give her a proper introduction. I'm going to put a little prompt up on the screen as well, because I want you guys to be able to ask her questions, ask us questions as we're talking about biodynamics. So I'm going to pose this in the comments. So let's get this up on the screen, and then I'm going to jump into who is Lindsay Drew. Okay, first of all, Lindsay is a friend of mine. We met a couple Texoms ago, and welcomed me with open arms, taught me a lot of stuff, nerded out with me, drank with me, most importantly, many a times. And guys, I love Lindsay. I think she's a great teacher, and I'm so happy to have her here. She is a sommelier. She is a 2-time top 3 Texom Best Sommelier Competition placer. I don't know if you would say that, but like Home Row in the top 3 2 years in a row, and like to make it in the top 3 period at the Texom Best Somm competition is like ridiculously hard, because people come in from all over the nation, if not the world, to compete in that. And she got top 3 twice. She's still yet to get the top spot. That's okay, because placing in top 3 and like medaling in 2 Olympics is better than maybe getting gold once. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe she's going to come back for a 3rd time and take that top spot, but she knows her stuff. We're going to be talking about biodynamics, and I am stoked. So before we jump into that, I want people to get to know who is Lindsay. So Lindsay, start us out with, where are you from, and how did your wine journey get kicked off?
Okay. Well, I'm from Texas, born and bred. I was a bit of a military brat, though. We moved around a bit. So I was born on Dyess Air Force Base out in Abilene. And then I spent a little bit of time in Wichita. And then I spent some time in the Panhandle. And then I went to high school in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and then came here to go to UT. That's our one sticking point here in Aggie. I'm really sorry.
Sorry, Lindsay. I thought I was going to be able to have you on the show, but I totally forgot about that fact. Guys, we've actually had to cancel the special guest for today. There will be no wine nerd section. We're moving on. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, I can't help it. When I have the controls and somebody's talking about that other school down the road here in Austin, I can't help myself.
I mean, I got to go to school in Austin. Nobody's upset about that.
Also true. I am jealous of that. It's a great city. I'm born and raised Austinite. Like, I have to agree with you there.
Yeah. So yeah, I went there. I got a degree in geography and the environment and an environmental science kind of focus. And I, like so many people, worked in restaurants to kind of, make money and kind of pay bills during college. And so as I was graduating, I much like Ray mentioned yesterday, I graduated into a recession. And so I was working at a really wine-focused restaurant at the time and just kind of fell in love. Yeah. And I was working with Alex from last Friday. And if you can't understand how easy it is to become infected with that kind of energy, working around that kind of energy, he's brilliant.
I love that. And I love how connected our whole community is and how it really is just like this big extended family that, as I'm figuring out, and I'm still the new kid on the block, I feel like, in many ways, but it's been really cool to be a part of this community. So, okay. So you guys now know Lindsay's background. You know, she went to that terrible, horrible school down the road here in Austin. Shall not be named. But I would love for you to kick us off, because we were talking about biodynamics, and I know it is crazy and complicated, and it deals with the stars and the moon and the galactic forces of the world, or at least, that's the rumor. Start us out by telling us, like, what's a simple definition of biodynamics?
I think the simplest explanation for biodynamics is that it is a form of farming, right? It's an organic form of farming, but it actually has some spiritual elements to it. That are tied into the agricultural practices and even tasting wine sometimes.
But would you agree it's kind of like a philosophical approach to both farming and winemaking?
Absolutely. Yeah, there is a philosophy behind it. There is a set of beliefs behind it. The guy who came up with it's a character. To say the least. Yes. So he's got some really wild ideas depending on how you feel about certain things, but he's fascinating. And
let's kind of go there. I mean, we're all about weird and crazy and characters and stuff.
Okay.
Talk to me about some of the practices of biodynamics.
Okay, so before we go kind of down that road of the what, I think it's important to understand the why. This philosophy and all of these kind of tenets of biodynamics came about in around the 1920s, and it was a reaction to a set of events that happened before that, which is that this is around the time or leading up to certainly World War I that we discovered, or Fritz Haber, not me, invented or came up with nitrogen fixing fertilizers. And he kind of developed this theory of plant nutrition, which is that there's really only like 5 main nutrients that plants need: potassium, nitrogen, blah, 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 and came up with fertilizers for that. What's also unfortunate about that situation is being able to nitrogen fix something. He also created a lot of weapons. He was on the Ministry of Chemistry for the German Ministry of War during World War I. He killed a lot of people. He's not a great guy, except that also like half of the population in the world today would not be alive if not for his fertilizers. So, deal with that one. I'm not going to depress you any more than that. I'm sorry. So anyway.
So it had its root in like response to this fertilizer that he had created?
Yeah. So basically this system wasn't really working, right? Because back before this, we were crop rotating, we were, feeding plants naturally, like with manure fertilizers and other things. They had a defense against insects, and these fertilizers and these pesticides and insecticides were kind of stripping away their ability to kind of defend themselves and to be healthy. And subsequently that meant that the livestock that was eating it wasn't as healthy either, because they weren't getting the nutrients that they needed, because they were only getting the 5 nutrients that allegedly plants only need. So it was just kind of a bad time. Think of the Dust Bowl and famine. It was spreading in Germany. It was spreading in a lot of places. And so these guys, Rudolf Steiner, or Steiner, depending. He kind of had come along. He made a bit of a name for himself because he had come up with a couple of philosophies, the main being anthroposophy. And so he was asked to do a couple of things. I'm kind of skeptical about that one, but he was asked to invent the Waldorf education. If you're familiar with that, that's based off of anthroposophy, and then biodynamic agriculture is based off of that. And so it's this philosophy where we have the physical world, and then if you peel behind that layer, you have a spiritual world that is controlled by elementals. Oh my God. And so it's based off of the 4 elements: earth, air, fire or heat, and water. And so they have actually like fairy tale, if you want to call it, like figures. So the earth is a gnome, like legitimately gnomes. He thinks like live on the spiritual plane in the ground. And then there's sylphs, there's undines, and then there's fire salamanders, which bring heat. So he lectured on this, and people are like, oh, that's really cool. Can you tell us how we should be farming? Because our farms they're not doing good things right now, and our livestock is unhappy, and our crops are failing.
Yes. So we've got all this mysticism, or we'll call it a philosophy or a religion, depending on where you are on that spectrum of, you know, thinking or having this worldview. Talk to me about the specifics of the practices, though. Like what makes up biodynamics in the vineyard?
So in the vineyard, the main tenets that you're going to hear about that are practiced are the idea of these 9 preparations. They're really great. The first one's wonder. So they have numbers that correspond to them, because actually biodynamics got outlawed during the Third Reich in Nazi Germany. So they had to use codes for these preparations. So it's 500 through 508, which is just crazy to me. So the first one is 500, which is the main manure fertilizer that you're supposed to use. And what you do is collect the cow poo and stuff it into their horns. And the more local the horns that you source, the more local the cow poo that you source, the better. Ideally, you have these same cows living on your farm, because their view is that the farm itself is an organism on its own. It's a living organism, and everything feeds itself. So they bury them. Yep. You get to see that photo. Ideally facing the north. And you have to bury them for 6 months. And then you pull it out of the ground, and you pull it out, and you mix it into a giant vat of water. And this is called, and then you have to, oh man, you have to.
We don't have to go too deep here. We're already really deep in the poo, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, we are deep in the poo.
They're shoving poop in the horns. They are burying the horns in the ground next to the vineyard.
With
and
the idea,
it has some kind of effect on the soil, the nutrients, the ecosystem of the vineyard.
The idea is that it's collecting cosmic energy while it's buried. And then when you mix it into the water, you have to create a vortex. And there's a philosophy about creating the vortex and creating a microcosm and chaos. And then you just go spray that in the vineyard. But the cool thing about this is that you really only need like a tablespoon per acre. And so you're not, dousing and dousing these fertilizers and whatnot on, oh my God, my dog. I just noticed, I'm sorry. So you don't need a lot of it. And it's got a lot of this like cosmic energy, and that it just gives and feeds like spiritually the earth. And
so we talked about like stuffing poop in horns and burying the horns. There's also these like sprays that they use, like stinging nettle. What do they call them? They're not they're teas, right? They're biodynamic teas.
Yeah, they're teas.
Spray.
But a couple of them then are also kind of prepared in the same way. Hey, fella, stop it. And so like for the stinging nettle, I think you have to like stuff it into a sheep's bladder or a sheep's stomach. Like
okay. So I mean, there's like layers to this that are pretty strict.
Yeah.
So I guess like I really like, because I feel like literally we could spend like hours talking about this, and it is nerdy and in the weeds, and we're talking about animal parts and stuffing things and spraying things. And Sarah had this question, like, basically, is this a compost tea? In a way, but like in a much more extreme way. I do want to say that there's a lot of, guys, this is an actual certification. So yesterday we talked about natural wine. And yes, they're starting to have like a certification in France, but nobody can really agree on necessarily what does natural wine mean. Biodynamics is Demeter certified. There is an organization that actually certifies both your farming practices and your winemaking practices. She's going to show you that label.
Yeah.
That little label right there, that little emblem, you have to meet very strict standards. So like, there's no question about what biodynamics are. But there might be, and I think still lingering questions about whether or not this actually changes the wine we're drinking. So like, if I believe that the moon and the gravity pool and the stars and this cosmic thing and, burying animal horns in the ground next to my vineyard actually affect what's in my glass, like, talk to me about that. Why should we care about biodynamics? And like, does the moon and stars and these practices actually change the wine in my glass?
So yeah, this ties back to the elementals that we were talking about and the belief of these different things. And so, you know that the Earth has a magnetic field, and it can expand and contract based on where the moon is, where certain, planets are. And so, the idea is that it expands and contracts, and as it does, it actually affects certain parts of the plant. So in farming or in gardening too, you can do this in your garden. There are certain days where, based on where the magnetic field is and basically the moon's relationship with the other planets, it's more beneficial, or the cosmic energies are more focused on like the roots or the leaves or the flowers or the fruit. And so there is a theory that is expressed in a glass of wine. On a root day, your wine is going to taste more earthy. On a leaf day, it's going to have more of those green, like herbaceous qualities. On a flower day, you're going to get more of the floral notes in a wine. And on a fruit day, so flower days and fruit days are the best day to drink wines.
All right, one more time. I need you to repeat that for the slow people in the room named D. Thompson.
Okay.
What days are the best days to drink wine?
Flower days and fruit days, because the fruit day is the best. It's the pinnacle, because you've got all of that fruit expression. Obviously, wine is made from fruit. That should be a pretty obvious connection. And so that is those are the best days to be able to drink.
Wow. Okay, so there's a gazillion questions in here. I do want to pull out a few, because I do feel like this like demonstrates a few of the things. Crystal's over here, like, it's fascinating. Spiritualism, energy. Then you've got Ken over here being like, some of this sounds like voodoo, not science. He loves the topics, but Diane's out here loving it too, thinking it's interesting. At the end of the day, whether or not you believe in the effects or what is actually causing the effects, I think you and I would both agree on this. And I know that you had mentioned this before, like, without a doubt, because of the strict regulations around biodynamics and the people who practice it and their constant presence in their vineyards. Finish that for me.
Someone who's going to take this much care of their vines or their farm, be it whatever they're growing, and pay that much attention, their stuff is going to be naturally a better product, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it makes total sense if you're there, like, meticulously caring for every single vine all the time in order to practice all these very strict rules. Like, it would make sense that you are more in tune with what's happening in your vineyards than somebody who's there, I don't know, once a week, once a month. I can't explain it, guys. I will tell you this. I've had some biodynamic wines, and they just they have this kind of crazy, like, alive aspect to them. I don't personally ascribe to the whole like energy about the wine and all that kind of stuff, but I can't help myself being attracted to biodynamic wines. I think that they're really cool. Now, there are a couple people that want to know, because we did talk about the days. What day is today?
Okay. Usually when I talk about this with a group full of people, I ask them to try to figure it out. So what, based on what you're getting out of the glass, if you've also had this wine before, how does it compare? Does it feel more earthy? Does it come across a little bit green? Is it like really large on the flowers? But I'm going to throw an entire wrench in this situation. All right. I know. Okay, so I've got my handy dandy biodynamic calendar. That
there's a calendar for this. Shelly has already commented in the comments. Yeah. There's an app that tells you the biodynamic calendar. So if you want to follow this and try it out to see if, who knows, like track maybe a week or two of your tasting wine, opening wine, and see if it aligns. So yeah, talk to us about today.
So today, this is actually the first time this has ever happened to me where it's actually, so if you can see, I'm gonna line it up. Here we go. This is today. There it is. So this is today, this gray line. That's actually a node. Oh, you hate me so much right now. So node days are caused by eclipses. And they happen more often because the moon is at its ecliptical. Anyway, it throws everything out of whack. And normally nodes don't last that long, but we are in the middle of a 48-hour node right now.
Oh, forget that. This rosé is delicious.
And imagine how much better it's going to be on a fruit day.
And I'm with Morgan here. Like, how does it make a margarita taste? What we,
fresh lime.
I love this from Paige too. You guys remember Paige? She's been on as a special guest. They like to experiment by tasting the wine, and days they're like, man, this just isn't tasting right. They go check the app or the calendar and see like, oh, maybe 9 times out of 10.
Thank you, Paige, because I used to do that as well. I don't like to follow the calendar. And I would go and look at it and see what was going on. And yes, you're right. 9 times out of 10, it's a root or a leaf. Or the last time I've done this with a group full of people, I'm like, all right, tell me what kind of day it is. I think the last time we did it, they were like, oh, it seems floral, or oh, it seems kind of green. Maybe it's leafy. And it was actually a flower day transitioning into a leaf day. And I say what you will, but this stuff happens.
Okay, so we're gonna finish with this one. Brian has to know: Does Lindsay herself believe in the tenets of biodynamics? And I'm leaning in for this one. Lindsay, you're being recorded right now. You're on the record.
Yeah. Look, I don't believe in fire salamanders and sylphs. But it comes back to what we just said, which is if you're paying that much attention to it, then yeah, I think you're going to make a better product. And there is some science involved that kind of backs up some of this stuff. But I'm not a follower of Rudolf Steiner and anthroposophy. So.
Fair. Oh, well, thank you so much for nerding out about it. If you guys have other questions, I'm sure Lindsay would be happy to jump into the comments and answer some of the more specific stuff. She's taught classes on this before and can get like deep in the weeds, or
really gnarly
manure, or the deep in the burying the horns in the ground, whatever you want to talk about. This has been awesome. I love, hopefully for many of you, this is the first time you've heard about biodynamics. I did see somebody ask, like, how do I know, about this? Can you hold up your bottle again and show the Demeter?
Okay.
Demeter, little guy.
Well, here, I'm going to throw in an asterisk on this. So Demeter is this guy, right? There we go. And they certify biodynamic agriculture, right? So they don't certify the side where winemaking is involved. And there's some politics involved. Not everybody can afford getting that kind of certification as well. So what you're going to find is a lot of people practicing biodynamics, but not necessarily being able to afford certifications. But there's also a couple of others. So the EU has their own biodynamic certification as well. In Austria, this guy, they have Respect, which is another certification, and a little bit more stricter, and also involves wine, the wine processes. There's also Biodynamics. There's a couple of them. And then there's just people that are like, look, I'm not going to pay for this. Or in the case of like South Africa, right? Our good friend Evan Sadi is practicing biodynamics. But some of the things that make sense in Austria and being as local as possible don't make sense in South Africa because dandelion doesn't naturally grow there. So what's better? Do you use a local source that is similar or does the right thing that's local? Or are you supposed to use an Austrian dandelion? Like what actually fits more into those kind of that philosophy?
Yeah, and I love that. So all that to say, guys, because biodynamics does have a definition, it does have regulations associated with it. Look on the label for biodynamic symbols and labels because you can find them and they are out there. And it's not like natural wine where it's kind of this, who knows what that means right now. Biodynamics is established and it has a lot of certifications, and they almost always, because they have to spend money to get certified, they're going to put that on their label. So go look for the label. Lindsay, thank you so much for digging in the weeds with us. We are going to play one round because we have already run late. We're going to play one round of What Do You Say? Because, guys, I love this game. So I'm posting this up. Guys, we introduced this game yesterday. I'm going to bring Kelsey back up too. So we are not going to tell the answer, but guys, in the comments, this is kind of like another game you might have heard of before. So, I think it's really important for us to not jump in with the answer. Okay, Kelsey. Okay, Lindsay. I'm going to get the hardest one. This was actually going to be my round 2, but since we're only playing one round today, I'm going to put this in the comments and let's see who in the comments can get this first. Ready, set, go, guys. Hits, hobby, call, solve, few. Hits, hobby, call, solve, few. Hits, hull, call, solve, few. Hits, hull, hobby, call, solve, few. Let's see who gets it, guys. We're going to end with this one round of What Do You Say? And Kelsey, you think you got it? Lindsay, you think you got it?
No.
Oh, that was a slower one. Slow in the comments, but nevertheless, we have a winner that I see first up on mine, guys. It's hobby. It's all because of you.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, that's a good one.
Well done. Jamie Piles coming up as the winner for the day. Guys, you know that we always wrap this. While I'm doing these 3 announcements, Lindsay's going to be thinking of who we're going to cheers it out with today. So, Lindsay, be thinking about who you want to cheers today to end the episode. I got these 3 things up in the comments. Guys, I already talked about the Sangio Rosé. Go freaking get this. It's in the virtual tasting, so why not go get the virtual tasting? That's happening on Saturday. There's a vertical of Sangiovese from the same vineyard, 15 and 16. Like, how cool and nerd is that? Like, you get to taste the same vineyard, the same grape 2 years in a row. That's incredible. We don't ever do verticals like that. Go get that. And the Sangio Rosé's in it. 2, Mom's Day. Guys, newsflash, Sangio Rosé. Like, I'm going to go buy the mom's pack for myself because it's $95 for 4 wines, shipping included. Links in the comments. Don't waste time. Go get it. 3rd, tomorrow we're going to be drinking the 18 Vermentino. It is White Wine Wednesday. I'm calling it White Wine Wednesday. So drink a white wine. Join me tomorrow, 5 o'clock right here. I'm not going to tell you who the special guest is yet. It's a little top secret, okay? So I'll see you here at 5 o'clock. Lindsay, thank you for being here. Lead us out with a cheers.
I want to cheers all of our industry folk that are kind of dealing with this. I know that you guys have an amazing wine that I got to taste recently that is giving back to them. Modelo for Cinco de Mayo is doing something that if you post and do a hashtag sync up, they are donating to industry people. And also, I get to teach a wine class that's entirely charitable on Saturday with this stay-at-home som, which I know you guys have done, an event with JR before, and happy hour with her. So she and I actually she's my best friend, if you didn't know, and we're teaching together, which it's been a couple of years since we've gotten to teach together, so I'm really stoked.
I love that. Make sure after we finish that you drop that in the comments in case folks want to join you. We love supporting you guys. So one more time, who are we cheersing to?
industry, the restaurant industry.
I love it. I love those guys. Obviously, the Relief Wine. Thank you, Kelsey,
Cheers.
and to Lindsay for being here, guys. Thanks everybody for being here. Cheers. Happy hour. We'll see